Hi, Olivia. I'm Ross. You may already have the answer to this, but I figured I'd give you some tips on how to approach problems like these because they can be pretty tricky. So starting at the top, if 1/2 of a number is 2 more than 1/3 of the number, what is the number? So that's a lot of stuff, especially a lot of numbers. So my approach to this problem, and what I'd encourage you to do, is just take it a piece at a time, word by word, if you need. So starting at that first part. If 1/2 of a number, let's just take that. So as we go, I'm going to just point out a couple common things and how to use them. So the luckiest thing is when they just tell you a number, like 1/2. So we can just write that on the page. If 1/2 of a number, where there's two important things there. First of all, anytime they say a number, they mean a number you don't know, which is a variable. So I'm going to write that down here just for reference. Anytime they say a number, we need a variable. And usually just use X, but you could use A for Alivia or whatever else you want to use. And even if it doesn't seem super important, the word of is a big deal. Anytime or usually when you see the word of in problems like this, that means to multiply. And in this case, it says 1/2 of a number. So that means 1/2 times X, or just 1/2 X. So just in that first little phrase, we get something really important. We have 1/2 X. Now moving on, we have is 2 more, I think that's supposed to say than, is 2 more than, and I'm just gonna stop there, is 2 more than, 2 more than. So what can we do with that? Well, again, it may not seem like it, but the word is, just on its own, is super important. The word is generally means equals, right? If I say the amount of money I have is $5, then my money equals $5. So 1/2 X, that half of a number, is, and now we deal with the next piece, 2 more than. Well, again, back to $5. If you have 2 more dollars than me, how much would you have? If I have 5, you'd have 7, right? And you got that by adding 2. So when it says something like is more than, what it's telling you is you need to add whatever number they're talking about, right? So in this case, when it says is 2 more than, that means we need to add 2. So you could write this a few different ways. I'm going to put the +2 at the end, right? You could also put 2 plus whatever comes after it. It doesn't really matter. All right, and then moving on. So we've got halfway through. Now this last piece is 2 more than 1/3 of the number. Well, this is really similar to the first piece. The only little trick here, right? 1/3 they're giving us. We already talked about how of means multiply. The only trick is that we have this the number thing again. Now don't go putting a different variable in here, right? Every time it says a number, we need a variable. But in this case, they're saying the number, as in that same number they were already talking about. So in this case, that's going to be X again. So that's our equation that we're going to use. That's all of the information we need. And then maybe even the harder type or part of this problem, depending on which part you like, is now solving it. So we have the equation, now we need to solve it. Now here's another tip. If you're not good at fractions, and a lot of people aren't, at this point you could actually just guess and check. If you know that would be faster for you, if you know fractions take you a long time, then maybe you just guess and check. You could start taking each of these numbers, right? You could take 2, plug in for your X's, and see what you get. See if the left and the right-hand side give you the same number. I can tell you right now, 2 won't do it. For B or X equals 6, let's try. Half of 6 is 3. 1/3 of 6 is 2, plus 2 would be 4. Those aren't going to be equal, so it's not 6. What about plugging in 12? Half of 12 is 6. 1/3 of 12 is 4, plus 2. Well, there we go. 6 equals 6. The answer's C. If you did want to pursue doing the actual algebra, you would need to subtract the 1/3 X on both sides. And the reason this is going to be tricky is because, as I'm sure you know, to subtract or add fractions, we have to have a common denominator. So we have 1/2 minus 1/3. A common denominator you could get for those is 6 if we multiplied this fraction top and bottom by 3 and this fraction top and bottom by 2. Then we would have 3/6 minus 2/6. And so that would leave us with 1/6 x equals 2. Last step in this problem, multiply by 6 on both sides, and you'd be left with 1x, or just x, equals 12, which is what we decided the answer was going to be already. So regardless of the path you choose, guessing and checking or doing the algebra, just pick whichever is going to be fastest for you. And definitely remember these terms and what they mean, right? A number of is more than, less than we didn't use here, but it's the same as more than, just with minus. Knowing some of the vocabulary and just having that strategy to approach these problems can be really helpful and make them way easier than they may seem at the outset. So I hope that helps, and good luck on the GRE.